Leopard fans, welcome back. Today we're in the Leopard Den 2.0 and we have our golf coach, Coach Owensby with us. Going to talk about the golf program and the golf seniors. Coach, thanks for being here. And tell us how golf was going up to the point of stoppage.
Well, other than all the rainy weather that we had, our first match got canceled with East Hall over here at Timney Oaks. But we were fortunate enough to play in the tournament that weekend, and we finished at sixth out of 12 teams, and there were some huge teams there. Buford was there, Heritage was there, a lot of bigger classification schools. So I feel like we did well, even though we didn't have a lot of practice, we didn't have a whole lot of really solid play up until that point. So I think we did well placing 6 out of 12 teams in that field. Then the next week, right before our season got canceled, we played Commerce, which everyone knows is our huge rival. Our boys went out and pretty much took care of business, winning by 10 strokes. Our girls, Chelsea Llewellyn, which is one of our seniors, led the pack and pretty much held up the team. She shot a 46, I believe, and their top girl, who really was thinking about winning state this year, shot a 43. So really close in that margin there. And then we have 2 freshmen who they played hard but really couldn't stand up to the test there. So we lost to Commerce. But that was our only match other than our tournament.
Very good.
So Coach, you know this whole thing has affected us all. How do you think, and you're a first-year coach, so let's talk about how you think it's going to, how it affected your kids this year, but how do you think it's going to affect the program moving forward?
I think most of it is golf is a lot of repetition. You got to get out there, you got to practice, you got to play, and with COVID-19 coming in, it really stopped a lot of that happening this year. And for this year, I think it might have hurt us a little bit, but my team is pretty young. They actually get out and they practice a lot before the season started. A lot of them play on the junior PGA, little events that they have in Georgia, and they're really solid players. Going forward, I think for me as a coach, I'm going to be able to come back to them and say, you can't count that you're going to ever have anything. You don't know that tomorrow's going to happen. And I can look back at the 2 seniors I have this year and say, you've got to play your hardest every time. And I think as a coach, that gives me a little bit of ammunition that way. Right. But as players, they're going to look at it and they might see this as a lost season, but hopefully they'll see this as a growing season and know what the competition is doing also with them.
Coach, how many golfers do we have right now that we know is going to move on to the next level?
We have one girl, Chelsea Llewellyn. She signed, I think, the letter of intent with Truett McConnell College, and she made the state tournament last year. Right. And then this year, with all of her practice with the junior PGA through Georgia, her average was up there among the elite in North Georgia. Right. So I'm really proud of where she was. I know that I have a senior boy, Slade, who wants to play at the next level but hasn't decided what he's going to do yet. Okay. So I think with his practice and his grit, I think he could do it.
So those are some of the people that were most affected, and I have a senior this year as well. Let's talk about, maybe talk to those seniors, but just let's talk about what they meant to you and the leadership on the golf team, and what they meant to Banks County as a whole. Okay. And we're going to step out of the way and just let you address our seniors.
Okay. So first, I'd like to talk about Slade Gaddaisi. From our early days in August with our 4-on-1s to up until our season got canceled, I could guarantee he was on the golf course more than he was probably with his family. He practiced probably 4 or 5 times a week, and I know this because the club pro over there told me that he was always there and that he knew him by a first name basis. He also, some of my other parents who live on the golf course talked about how he slept, ate, breathed golf. He's always there. He was my most improved golfer this year. From his average last year, I don't remember what it was, but I know he was shooting 50s and sometimes even 60s. Now he's shooting in the 40s. That's a huge improvement. The average golfer in America doesn't shoot in the 40s or even the 30s. So to see that big of a jump in 1 year is tremendous. His heart and his grit really solidified the team on the boys' side. Now on my girls' side, Chelsea Llewellyn, there's not enough words to say for her. Of course, she was on the state championship softball team earlier in the year, but then when she came over to golf, we originally had a bunch of girls that were signed up for golf, and a bunch of them decided they needed to do other things. That left me with Chelsea, who was a senior, and 2 freshmen. And the dilemma there is how do I solidify that team? And Chelsea, couldn't say much better things about her. She kind of took it by the horns, and she would talk to these girls, and she even gave some rides to the golf course, and she was always there. I know that she has been a great mentor for my 2 freshman girls that are coming up, or that are there this year. Not to mention the way that she plays the game. I followed her around when we played Commerce. She was really calm, collective, and there was media there. And there's some shots where the media was right there with the camera. I think I might have just shanked it. She hit a straight shot, perfect shot down the fairway. She has nerves of steel. Can't say much more about my 2 seniors other than they're probably a great representation of what Banks County sports should be and is.